Looking at the update, October 29th update, right? One of the files was actually a credentials file, but I mean, most likely it'll be encrypted, but it'll be interesting to know what information that credential file actually have, because that could be a potential point of a concern there.
Here's why I will laugh at it. Because we so underbanked, 90% of the people never gave their credit card information to TFTT because they never paid for their stuff via credit card. Like if I have a account at TFTT and I knew me put my credit card information inside all the system. All you'll get paid via bank deposit, bank transfer every month. I think
so. You're saying that we're underdeveloped. It's good that we're an underdeveloped country in that sense.
I didn't say it was good. I didn't say it's a good in our favor.
So that is a good thing to be offline, not to give this information or make it very hard to get a credit card. Yeah.
Here where I real concern. Like the customer data. No, I know real concern about that. You see they get the GitHub archive?
Yeah.
That GitHub archive, that's the problem for me. Because that is code. And that is some of the things that are coded for how your database works and the internal systems and programs and things that are running. And if somebody reverse engineer that code, then they could get back into the system whatever they want and actually start to get things that they want to get. That's the part I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would do it for you too. There's a lot of AI tools on the dark web that could just fix code for you or give you all the vulnerabilities of that code or assist you with penetrating it in certain ways and manipulating it.
And I mean, one thing that, does concern me, and Shivami could jump in here, because I know we kind of talk about this in the past, is the fact that it seems to be a trend, that Trinidad and, government systems are being attacked more and more, and it's probably the fact that, most companies, they don't necessarily pay much attention to the cybersecurity aspect of their business. They're more reactive than being proactive. They more take a passive approach, and it seems to be, it seems to be a trend. I think that probably, yeah.
Since last year, after massive attacks and stuff, I was preaching that. It has a whole lot of the Caribbean, and by extension, Trinidad and Tobago and the entire Caribbean as a whole is being looked at as a playground for hackers and penetrations and all these things are happening correctly. So what happened last year was just a test in the waters. What's happening now is the execution of that. Trinidad and Tobago has been in a lot of different forums on the dark web too, if you really take the time to look at it, as well as other Caribbean islands, due to corruption, due to a lot of different things. I'm not saying the government corrupt, I'm not saying nobody corrupt, I'm just saying that there's a lot of things being discussed on the dark web. Yeah. There's a lot of information there. And that's like, I don't know if like digital transformation or anybody has this whole cybersecurity group that actually goes on the dark web and looks up things about the government or certain Trinbagonian companies and stuff like that online there, Information is key now. Data is gold, especially in 2023, going into 2024.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, the Ministry of National Security, I think, should come together in like a full-on attack on this and actually, see what can happen.
Well, that where the CISRT people come into play.
Yeah, I was going to say that apparently we have a cybersecurity committee,
a cybersecurity incidents team or some kind of thing. So
yeah.
One of the things that I observed too is that they didn't deny that data was taken out. They said that data was not deleted or altered. And one of the weird things that they said is that the company generates terabytes of data as a strawman tactic to draw attention from the specifics and seriousness of the like saying that the company generates terabytes of data. That ain't really helping your cause, because if 6 gigabytes of data out there, it ain't taking like a spreadsheet with a CSV file with 800,000 records inside of it, not even making up a gig, not even making up 500 megabytes. So trying to say that we generate terabytes of data, so 6 gigabytes of data is nothing. You don't really need much data from our company. You don't need to get all the HR stuff and whatnot. You just really need to get sensitive information and get. So the press release was still kind of shaky, and I think they're kind of skating as to what to say, because it's hard to say that your data out there.
They should have held a meeting and got the story straight of what they want to say to the press before they let whoever said whatever, because some of these stories is here they. I kind of lackadaisical in a sense. I mean, for the more technical people, the more technical people could see that, something probably went on there and, the story not adding up, but the mass of the population, they wouldn't really care. They'll just say, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, the mass population, they're going to have to stop and ask, so what does this mean for me? And for most of the people that message me and ask me about it, I just told them, well, when that amount of data get out there, just look out for spam very soon. Look out for phishing attempts very soon, because that's the number one thing that they will do with the data. See who you could catch inside the link, inside the net. But I didn't tell John Public anything about the GitHub repositories, because that's what I wanted to talk to Ollie about, because Ollie would understand when you could reverse engineer somebody's system and code, you could get back inside at any point in time. And that's the concerning part, because if it happened last year, that means they learned something. And now it happened again this year, that means they're learning more. And
that's enough.
Well, yeah, because you had to poke and see what you can and cannot get.
Yeah, and I mean, it'll depend on how they actually got their hands on the data, in terms of how were they able to penetrate their systems. And that would kind of lean into how effective having certain code bases will be, and how proactive TSTT would be in trying to patch those vulnerabilities, because, you probably have some of the code, but if you patch enough vulnerabilities and put enough layers between yourself and a potential attack, you might be able to mitigate certain things, but again, it's up to them to try and figure out how it happened, You have to figure out how it happened to try and stop it from happening again. Because it happened last year, come back and happen again. So it probably caused a more forensic approach and, a more scientific approach probably to try and mitigate it happening again.
I want to see what the CSIRT CSIRT response team does, because this is a perfect opportunity for them to do something like to prove your job spec now,
Yeah. So how long were they in existence?
I don't know, but I think
I'm not sure.
So when we checked the website, it was last year.
A few years, and
it was a few years, right?
So how many incidents happened since then, and how much times have you seen them jump into action?
Well, I don't think they ever had to jump into action, because normally the companies just make the statement. But I think it's time for them to be like, okay, everybody else, shut up. We go down and talk about this. So if they jump in and be like, okay, this is the technical things that go on, don't say anything. Here's what you have to say. Here's the words to use. Because I think some of the words that were used in the press release were just kind of arbitrary words that they put out that should make the common man feel calm. But technical people like us would be like, now we could see beyond you talking about large amount of data. Nothing was actually deleted. But who does go inside your ransomware is not about deleting your data. Ransomware is about taking it and holding it hostage. So mentioning deleting of things, that means you was off the ball from the start. Yeah.